Hey friends, we're back with our next episode of Sryth, our fantasy text-based RPG. Last time, don't remember. Last time we were doing the Proving Grounds 1, and I didn't complete it at 100%, which makes me upset, but we'll still go into the other Proving Grounds. Apparently there's more adventures back for this location, which I find very odd. I will get to that eventually. But not right now. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Let's go. First thing I want to do is go back to the Goblin Claw Inn and do that daily events, even though I don't come on here every day to play this. But hopefully one day we'll be done with this and we'll get what we want to get out of it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. You know what I mean. But yeah, we're not reading it because it says the same thing every time, so it's not like I gotta reread it every time. If you want it read, we'll have to find the first time I did it. Still more for tomorrow. Ugh. But we've done it this time. And then what I want to do is go to my castle, which is in southern Southeast. By Tridmore, which is not Apple Castle. I'll purchase upgrades. Let's see, stone table, griffin statue, decorative tackaback shield, mirror of vanity, mirror of gating, living statues, no thank you, orbs of moonlight, Torgeran moss bed, oaken wardrobe. Oh, didn't I upgrade my bed already? Having a troop of minstrels at your beck and call is nothing to steer at. These musicians will only serve to entertain guests, but they can also call up for the halls. Oh, I like music. Yes, get me some music people. Do they live here with me? Because I do kind of want a village when I have a big house or castle or something. Palo seller. I mean, do I like Palo like that? I would like a garden too. Somewhere to stroll. Have some meditation. That's good. We'll just upgrade stuff I have already, which we'll save here like this, and then improve upgrades. That's 3 of 3. That's 2 of 3. Where's the 2 of 3? We'll improve my map. And so that's all I can do today in my castle. It's the Granger's 217, so we're doing good. So let's leave, travel back to, like I said, we're doing Proving Grounds, but I did want to do that quest that is at Hawkwood now, so that adventure, as it were. So we'll go ahead and do that first. RedWarren. Embark. The sky darkens and the first drops of rain have begun to sputter on the road. We draw up before the heap of stones that marks the western boundary of RedWarren. It's been 2 days since you accepted the task of delivering the iron strongbox, an item now securely in possession to a man by the name of Leah Milson, a man you eagerly hoped to find in town just up ahead. It was early in the morning 2 days ago that you met the Palo merchant Mordrinin in the common room of the Stoneback Tavern while you were half listening to Peerpaul's wild and extremely long-winded retelling of some traveller's tale. The white-bearded Mordrinin approached you and politely inquired about hiring your services. After gladly excusing yourself from Peerpaul's somewhat tiresome company, you spoke at length with the merchant and learned that he wished to have you safely carry a strongbox to the distant town of RedWarren. Mordrinin, explained that the strongbox contained a long overdue payment on an old debt, and that it is needed to be delivered to the hands of a man named Leah Milson. A recent spate of goblin sightings in the rugged northern region of the Heart Hills served to make the prospect of travelling to RedWarren something he dare not consider. Having heard of your stalwart reputation as an adventurer, Mordrinin explained that he was overjoyed when he discovered you passing through Hawklaw. The strongbox is now in my possession, plus 109 gold. After accepting the Palo merchant's payment of 100 gold, you took possession of the weighty strongbox and set out at once for RedWarren. more concerned with reaching the remote town before the weather changed for the worse than you were about the possibility of goblin encounters. Before leaving his company, Mordrin told you that the box had no key, but it was only opened by the man to whom it was to be delivered. Whether once during your trek you made an attempt to open the strong box? No, don't do that. But on each occasion, the iron lid refused to budge, leaving you to believe the container was sealed with powerful magic. As your thoughts return to the present, you step into a pile of rocks and take note of the broad, flat stones that capes the roughly triangular heap. Engraved upon the rugged surface of the thick slab is the letter R. Now standing upon the threshold of your destination, with a cool drizzle slowly turning the road to mad, you resolve to make short of work of finding Liam Milson and delivering to him the heavy box that certainly helped to bring an old ache that spreading back to your shoulders. Without further delay, you flick away the rain straight down your brow and make your way along the wide sloping path that leads down the main road into the town of RedWarren. You spot on the path and move along the rain-swept thoroughfare that leads into the center of the town, and as the thoroughfare passes into the town square, a muddy quadrangle surrounded by a collection of cheerless but well-kept wood and stone structures, you're struck by the fact that you've yet to see a single person moving about in the open. Your first impression of RedWarren is a town deserted. You're standing in the middle of RedWarren's sizable rain-swept town square. A collection of buildings flank the quadrangle, while the town's main thoroughfare, now muddy, puddle-strewn path, passes through the square running east and west. Nearby, next to one of the town's many wells, stand several wagons. A pair of sturdy draft horses are still attached to one of the wagons, though there is no sign of anyone to be had in or around the square. A steady drizzle continues to fall. Only a few feet from you, set atop a mound of raised earth, is a broad circle of large, roughly square stones, a circle of warding. Each of the stones that make up the circle are engraved with several warding symbols. You're curious to know that 3 other circle stones are missing. With the distant rumble of thunder echoing in your ears, the sky continuing to darken. You cast your wary gaze over the building that stands on the edge of the square. Several of the structures seem worthy of investigation. Well, we might as well just go in order. Suddenly, what? Just as you're about to head toward the stables, you spot the dark silhouette of a short, frail woman lurking in deepening gloom only a few yards to your right. The woman turns in your direction, and for a fleeting instant your gaze meet. Her expressionless demeanor, coupled with the myriad of tattooed stars that cover her pale face, instantly unnerves you. Before you can attempt to call her out, she silently turns and strides off through the rain. You watch as she draws up with the stables and steps inside, disappearing from view. You're standing in the middle. She obviously wants me to go to the stables, so let's do that. As you reach the stables, you're startled by the sudden appearance of the frail tattooed woman you encountered in the city town square. She emerged from the stables and, without looking in your direction, quickly moves off along the rain-swept street. You watch as she disappeared around a corner a few dozen yards away. Wasting no time, you rushed after her, rounding the corner just in time to see her vanishing into the gathering gloom. Suddenly, moments before all trace of her had been swallowed up by the surrounding darkness, she startlingly downplays a small glowing object on the edge of a broadening puddle. Then, without looking back, she rises and slips away into the shadows. A small object she deposited at the edge of the puddle emits a faint blue glow. Upon close examination, you discover the item left by the mysterious woman is a small glowing fragment of bone. Believing the jagged piece of bone must bear some significance, you reach down and take possession of it. Be sure to examine the glowing bone fragment more closely by dissecting from your items. With no further sign of this tattooed woman to be had, you turn to make your way back to the center of RedWarren's town square. Glowing red bone fragment view. The jagged bone fragment emits a faint blue glow. This item can be used twice while you're in combat. After 2 uses, it's no longer functional. Just what will happen when you use it in combat is unknown. Interesting. I see. Can I go to the tavern now or what? Moving across the gloomy, rain-swept town square with your every sense alert, you head for the tavern. As you reach the front door of the structure and spend several moments watching and listening before cautiously making your way inside. The Red Oak Inn and Tavern is a large wood and stone structure on the northern side of RedWarren's town square. The tavern's common room, normally filled with the bustle and chatter of its loyal patrons, stands empty, and a quick and cautious search of the premises turns up nothing of any particular interest. You make your way out of the tavern and back into the dark, dreary, rain-swept town square. Okay, nothing's happening there, I gotcha. Let's get the mill. Moving across the gloomy, rain-swept town square with your every sense alert, you head for the mill. You reach the front door of the structure and spend several moments watching and listening before cautiously making your way inside. The Grand Mill is affectionately known by the people of RedWarren as is an imposing structure that consists of the churning junction, two swiftly flowing streams that carve their way past the eastern edge of the town square. The mill, used primarily for producing paler bark, normally operates from just before dawn until just after dark. At the moment, however, it stands silent and empty. A quick and cautious search of the premises turns up nothing of any particular interest. You're on your way out of the mill and back into the dark, dreary, rain-swept town square. Alright, into the stables. You head for the stables. You reach the front door, spend several moments watching and listening for making your way inside. You don't find anything of particular interest. There's several of the building's well-kept stalls are presently occupied by horses, but no sign of anyone in or around the stable. Okay, next up, the meeting house. You head for the meeting house. The meeting house serves the center of RedWarren's town government. Is standing quiet and empty, and a quick, cautious search of the premises turns up nothing of particular interest. It's filled with nearly 24 wooden statues depicting important historical personages of Tisa. Okay. The mercantile. Not far from the tavern, the town's most important shop is filled with all manner of goods. Despite the parade of town folks that normally move in and out through the mercantile's pegged open door, there's no sign of anyone in or around the shop. Okay. What's going on at the church? On the western edge of the town center, 2 buildings down from the meeting house, stands RedWarren's only church. The well-kept structure is flanked by 2 massive stone sculptures, each monument masterfully depicting the symbol of Sryth, a mountain with a palm outward hand above it, and the church in its well-maintained grounds stands empty. A quick and cautious search of the premises turns up nothing of any particular interest. Okay. A church. I thought I went to the mercantile. Yeah, see, I went to the mercantile. How did I skip the church? Smithy. Stands still and empty. Oh, this is gloomy. Okay. There's nothing going on. As you reach the outskirts of RedWarren, the weather turned a sudden and frightening turn for the worse. The churning sky darkens, and the howling wind swept down out of the surrounding hills as a formidable breath, bending back tops of trees as it assails you with the unyielding deluge of the driven rain. Completely disoriented and overcome by a profound sense of despair, you turn and head back to the center of town. Okay. We're here and it won't let us leave. What am I supposed to do here? I don't have anything to put in this. At least for these circle stones. About a jerk stone. Any other stones? What a green stone fragment. What about the bone fragment? What about a round blue stone? Well, this is annoying. What? I've been to everything. I've done everything I can do here. And it won't let me leave. I feel gloom. Should I leave again? Won't let me leave. I'm stuck in this godforsaken town. How rude. Guess I'll just keep going. I'm not reading it again. Suddenly, you're less than 3 steps from the door when it suddenly slams shut, and a soft footfall from the behind sends you pulse racing, and you instinctively spin around only to find yourself confronted by a sight that defies description. Centered together in the center of the mill, only a few yards from your 8 men and women, their heads sunk low and their expressionless faces and unblinking eyes fixed on the floor. Slowly, near in unison, the members of the silent, ghastly horde raise their hands, transferring their haunting gazes from the floor to you. As you step back and draw yourself in a defensive stance, you first believe that the gruesome illusion to be undead. However, as the sinister figures begin moving toward you, you come to a completely different or more unsettling conclusion. These ghoulish, lurching figures are the people of RedWarren. Having come to a terrifying realization that the town's populace has somehow been possessed, your mind races to determine the best course of action as the possessed horde steadily advances. And next up, the possessed townfolk in the middle, a young woman, her hand tightly clutches a wooden cudgel, and her unblinking eyes fixes their haunting staring you, swiftly and silent attacks. No desire to cause the possessed woman are permanent harm, prepared to suddenly subdue your grim assailant. Yes, don't kill anybody. If you subdue 8. Yep. Despite having been battered during fight, you find solace that she will not be permanently harmed. Okay. 4 of 8. Oh, he's got a hit in. 5 of 8. So RedWarren comes up because of Proving Grounds 1. Since I completed Proving Grounds 1. How very interesting. How very interesting indeed. 7 of 8. Yes, I'm not doing anyone permanent harm because I don't want to. Okay. Female mentally possessed middle-aged woman. Done. With a ghastly shriek, the possessed man topples to the floor. We were just fighting a woman. Despite having been battered during the fight, you take solace in the fact that he hasn't been permanently harmed. You step back, maintaining a guarded stance as your eyes scour into the mills for any sign of danger. Much to your immediate relief, it seems you are at last alone. Having taken nearly a minute to recover from your battle, the possessed townfolk set upon making search of the mill. In a cluttered corner of the mill, you make a discovery. Next to the defeated townfolk, you discover a sizable and weighty square stone. Several strange symbols have been engraved upon the weathered surface. You immediately recognize the stone to be one of those missing from the circling ward in the center of town. Promptly take possession. After a quick search reveals nothing else in particular interest, you spend the next several minutes checking the equipment. Quantum. Yes, check over the possessed people. Alright, let's leave. Now, we're still in the middle of RedWarren's sizable rain-swept town square. A collection of buildings flanked a quadrangle while the town's main thoroughfare, now muddy, puddle-strewn path, passes through the square running east to west. Nearby, next to one of the town's many wells, stand several wagons. A pair of sturdy draft horses are still attached to one of the wagons, though there is no sign of anyone to be had around the square. The cold rain that continues to fall, which was merely a steady drizzle when you arrived, has turned into a heavy rain. The rain has begun to soak through your attire, chilling you to the bone. Only a few feet from you, set atop a mound of raised earth, is a broad circle of large, roughly square stones of circular warding. Each of the stones that make up the circle are engraved in several warding symbols. Okay. The distant rumble of thunder echoing in your ears, and the sky continuing to darken. You cast your wary gaze over the buildings that stand on the edge of the square. Several of the structures seem worthy of investigation. Suddenly. Oh no, it's 9 this time. Oof. Woof. Possess a woman. Possess young woman. And they all say that. Rejuvenation! There's this young woman. There's 9 this time. There's this old man. There's this old man. That's middle-aged man. It was a man, I missed it. That's old woman. This young woman. That. Not permanently harmed. Search the tavern. With one eye on the door, you make a thorough search of the tavern. In the collected corner of the tavern, you make a discovery. It's another stone. And they're fine. Alright, let's go back to the stables. Suddenly. 26 this time. What? I didn't mean to flee. This is what you get when you don't pay attention. There's still 2. With your eye on the door, you make your way through. With their research, you make the discovery of the warding stones. So let's put the warding stones into the. Where are they? Area. Use. You set 3 warding stones in your possession back in the proper places on the broad ring of the stone. When your stones are now complete, the circle of warding is what's getting prized on all to 9 stones. Okay, now what does that mean? So let's take a look at that again. There's more people. I gotta fight people in every place. How rude. Well, once I find out the stones and put them in, it would be over. But apparently not. guess I gotta defeat all the possessed people before this will be over. Doesn't let you on a quick battle when you're not killing the thing. To heal. I could end up getting just keep swimming. I went to heal. 7 more. What was that lady in here doing? Yeah, I'm thinking about that tattooed lady who left us that stone at the beginning. Did she do this? Is that thing she gave me or left behind something that'll turn me into a zombified? It's the kind of things you gotta think about. A few more building, a couple more. Oh yes, 25. Just none of them are children, they're just middle-aged women and old women and young women and old men and young men and middle-aged men. I guess I'm in the middle-age range, huh? I'm happy about it. Oh, there's a cellar. In the distant corner of the smithy, you find a wooden hatch set into the floor with sturdy iron bars been slid into the place, securing the hatch closed. You carefully remove the bar and then pull open the hatch, revealing a dark opening. Just inside the opening rests the top of a ladder. The ladder ascends into darkness for approximately 10 feet before its sturdy legs come to rest in a damp floor of stone-packed earth. It seems fairly obvious to you that you've discovered the cellar of the smithy. Let's go down. You take one last look around, seeking any sign of movement within the smithy, but continuously climb down into the cellar. You stand at the base of a sturdy wooden ladder that climbs up another the smithy cellar. To the east, west, and south, dank, musty passages disappear into darkness. Dim light spills down through the open hatch above, bathing you with its pale luminance. Suddenly, while glancing upward, you think you see what appears to be someone peering down the hatch. You immediately reach for the ladder. You reach for the ladder only to have it swiftly and silently fly upwards through the open hatch. Before you can reach to this startling turn of events, the lowest of the battle's disappears through the opening above, and the wood hatch slams shut. Telltale signs of iron bolt being slid back into place fills you with dread. Someone or something has sealed you into the cellar, of course. How very kind of them to. Alright, let's go down first. You trust its light source plus The gloom, with its warm, reassuring luminance, as you rarely make your way through the musty cellar beneath the smithy. You're sitting in the southeast west corner of the smithy cellar, lying in the damp stone floor in the middle of the passage is a fish-sized grey stone shaped to resemble a skull. As unsettling feeling washes over you, as your gaze becomes inexplicably frozen on the curious object that as a blue glow emanates from the hollowed out eyes of the eerie stone, an unsettling feeling swiftly subsides, only to be replaced by a profound sense of dread. As you struggle to look away from the stone-shaped stone, you begin to think that the strange rock is somehow at the center of the screen and as before in RedWarren. Approach. That's black. That means we gon' die. Okay. Avoid. Time to use restoration. Let's go the other way. Suddenly, your progress along the musty cellar passages comes to an abrupt halt as a robed, hooded figure lurches out of the darkness ahead. A faint blue glow emanates from the shadowy void beneath the figure's bulky black hood. It immediately recognizes the sinister unbeing dead as a vile, possessed an undead abomination with the ability to possess the minds of the living. Powerful aura of fear and looks usually possessed moves silently across the passage towards you. As the hooded being silently draws its to within melee range, its right hand shoots at it and grasps for you. You dodge to your left, and live one in the shadowy claw hand of your sinister foe as you launch into a counter attack. Slay. Alrighty. With out of sound, the robe being slips to the floor of the passage. You step back from the remains of your enemy and shocked to discover the only a crumpled hub of tattered black rose remains in the spot where your enemy fell. Your eyes are suddenly drawn to your left hand. Your left hand is emitting a faint blue glow. After carefully examining the black hooded robe left behind by your foe, you feel reasonably certain that it would be safe to take the garment if you so desire. With no sign of anything lurking in the nearby gloom, no sound of movement anywhere along the passage. You once again resume your cautious exploration of the cellar. Your hand emits a faint blue glow. How interesting. Okay, let's see what's on the other side because we know it's this way. Suddenly, another hooded being. Let's fight. Just give me the powers. Need to use restoration here. I mean, how many of these people are there? I mean, just give me all the roads. I might need them or something. You're sitting in the western end of the short passage, lying on the ground before you is a tattered black robe. It will probably fit you. Do I want to put on a tattered black robe though? No. What is it? The back. Alright, we put it on. Alright, let's go try this being again, because that's all that's left in here. Hey, he's easy to beat now. With a sharp crack, the skull-shaped stone suddenly shatters into hundreds of small jagged fragments. Thin, black tines of writhing energy sweep out across the cellar floor, forcing you to leap more than once to avoid being struck by the deadly energy. As the lightning flickers and fades, an overwhelming sense of terror begins to recede. Your eyes are drawn to the scorched rock of the earth. All that remains in the spot, to mark the spot upon the glowing stone rested, and suddenly note the glowing brown fragment in your position has disintegrated. Interesting. With your eyes still fixed on the scorched mark on the floor at your feet, you lean back against the wall and attempt to collect your thoughts and catch your breath in the wake of this stone's destruction. And as you brush away two small spiders crawling across your left shoulder, you suddenly become aware of the thudding echo of many footsteps crossing the floor below. The sounds of old RedWarren is now crowding the smithy. After checking over equipment, you realize it's time to see if you can at last make your way out of the cellar. Reach the spot where you first stepped into the dark cellar and stare up at the closed hatch. The mingling sound of footfalls and voices from above serve to raise your spirits, though you remain on your guard. You begin to think that the strange nightmare that descended upon RedWarren, a nightmare you unwittingly walked into, is at last over. After waiting for several moments, intently listening to the sounds of movement across the floor above, you call out for someone to open the hatch. Second later, the sound of something heavy being pushed over the hatch reaches your ears, and an iron banded slab of wood is drawn back, flooding the cellar with a bright golden light. The lattice once again lowered down in the opening, and as you step into the first rung and look up at you, heart nearly skips a beat, staring at you through the open hatch. Her head and shoulders framed with a flickering light room above you is the tattoo you encountered shortly after your arrival. The woman you previously displayed not the slightest hint of emotion smiles before withdrawing the opening and disappearing. Eager to meet up with her and learn her identity, you spring up the one rungs of the ladder and climb through the open hatch into the well-lit and crowded smithy. Despite your overall relief to find the citizens of RedWarren no longer possessed, though that many of them bear marks that attest to the brutal struggle you waged to battle them into submission, you're dismayed that there's no sign of the tattooed woman. First thing you notice when leaving the smithy is the rain has stopped, although the main square and thoroughfare run through it remain hopelessly muddy. The churning clouds under which you liberated the town have begun to give way to a few broad columns of sunlight. You immediately seek out RedWarren's magistrate, a plump, white-haired man named Yuldor, whose bruises and battered face are unfortunately vaguely familiar to you. You believe you recall battering him to submission in the meeting house. Drawing him aside, you introduce yourself and provide him with a full account of everything that has occurred since your arrival in town, taking care to leave out some of the more gruesome tales. Although the magistrate and all those who possess have no recollection of the events the last couple of days, your story is corroborated by a group of returning townfolk who fled the forest at the onset of RedWarren's nightmare. The rider is Yuldor, drawing his fist up to his lips. There was a strange traveller, a lone horseman, that passed through 2 days ago. Silent fellow, I saw him take an undue bit of interest in the circle of water. When I approached him, he rode off, never said a word to me, never asked a word to anyone while he rode through. Shortly after, he was gone the same night, in fact, that we noticed 3 of the stones water were missing. Yuldor tells you to believe the silent stranger stole the stones, and then, when the circle of water no longer were able to protect the town, used some sort of dark magic against RedWarren and its people. Although you appreciate the logic of this supposition, you remain certain of the role, if any, this lone rider might have played in the town's ghastly ordeal. Yuldor thanks you for returning the water stones to the rightful place. A skull-shaped stone, did you say? Yuldor shakes his head as you repeat to him the part of your account that describes the stone destruction. It's like the smithy, to have a look at the market left, but not yet. Just yet, mind you. My head's still aching and my knees feel really buckle. I'm grateful, of course, that you saw fit to spare us, Alison, given our state. Very grateful indeed. We asked Yuldor if he knows anything further about the long ride, including where he might have been headed. He wasn't young, though I can't say he was old either, he says, though I didn't really get a very good look at his face. He wore a wide-brimmed leather hat and a blue cloak, or was it green? Yes, green, I think. I don't know where he was going, but I'm glad to see him leave. Still, I suppose it's mostly conjecture to think he had anything to do with all this. To be completely honest, I don't know what to think about any of this. You follow up your question about the rider by asking the magistrate the name of the woman with the tattooed face. A woman you last saw just before you climbed in the cellar of the smithy less than an hour ago. Yuldor frowns and shakes his head. There's nobody in town like that, he says. Never seen anyone anywhere that would match that description. You saw her here in town, scars all over her face. Realizing that he knows nothing of the woman, you tell him you might have been mistaken about her appearance, and you allow the matter to rest. Yuldor moves on with obvious discomfort, a lasting token of your exceptional combat prowess. Sorry. Which you can help but feel somewhat guilty. Meets you in the shoulder cross and thanks you for delivering RedWarren and its popular salad jaws of a sinister and gruesome fate. I've heard of you, Alison, but then who in these bars hasn't? I say again, I'm thankful you wandered our way when you did. I'm one that I never get any notion to cross you. If these rules are any sort of testament to your battle score, I will not find myself at odds with you, not ever. So what was it that brought you this way to begin with? Mentioning neither the strong bucks nor meeting with Modrin in Hockler, you told although that you're looking for Lear Milson, a man you believe to be found somewhere in RedWarren. The magistrate gives you a quizzical look, then shrugs. If it's Lear Milson you come here seeking, he's found. He said, no, I can't find someone like you would have a way of business or something like that. This place is north of town away, off by itself, much like Lear himself. He's a strange boy, that one. I don't know of anyone to have a quarrel with him, though, although I don't know anyone who has anything at all to do with him in the first place. It just tells you that Lear's family was once among the most prominent in the region. When you ask what had become of the family since, he shakes his head. Old Milson, who knew them, Lear's father, that is, was always a bit off, if you follow me, though he was of a good nature mostly. He said when he died, and his wife shortly after him, the 4 boys, well, to put it plainly, fell into madness. The eldest took his own life, 2 of them wandered off and never returned, and the youngest of them, Lear, well, he's still here, living in one of the old Milson's orchard buildings. It was there, mind you, that torched his family's ancestral home. The magistrate smiles and shakes his head. Enough about all that. If you're looking for Lear, the reason for doing so is none of my business. Perhaps you already know what I've told you. In any event, you'll find this place in the road leading north up to town. Oh, and be sure to stop back by this way before you leave us. As Yuldo hobbles off, you can't help but wince when you think of the necessary, though non-lethal violence you employed against the possessed citizenry of RedWarren. You silly hope you'll never again find yourself later with such difficult and unavoidable predicament. On the northern outskirts of RedWarren, just beyond the overgrown remains of the abandoned orchard, you find the ramshackle single-room residence of Liam Nilsson. A thin, middle-aged man invites you in and quickly offers you some fresh sleep brew palo he's taken off the fire. When you relate in the horrifying events that took place in town, he stares at you in stark disbelief and shakes his head. I don't go into town very much, he says, but to think that something of that nature could happen right under my nose, and I've not known nothing about it, that's ghastly. I do hope everyone is alright. They are, aren't they? I'm describing for him of your victory over the dark forces that held the town in terrifying grip. Lear pours both of you more polo. I don't know if it's related, but a strange fella passed by here not more than 3 days back, he says. You conclude your account. He wore a green cloak and had a leather hat, very wide brimmed to it. I heard his horse clopping him along for a good stretch, and I came out away to him, but he never returned to look at me. I didn't care for his look, mind, or the way he carried himself. You think he might have had any hand in this? You immediately recognise that Lear's account's low rider matches up with the description given to you by Yuldo. Realising that Lear is waiting for you to answer the question, you shrug your shoulders and tell him that you're not certain. Suddenly recalling the purpose of your visit, you retrieve the iron strong box from amongst your possessions. Then, gladly, set the weighted container down on the uneven surface of the wobbly table on which you are seated. You tell Lear that you came to RedWarren to live within this box at the request of the payload merchant, Mordrin, and a look of confusion spreads on the face of your host. I've heard the name, he said. His name the boss, but I've never met this Mordrin fellow who gave you this. For me? What is it? Shall I open it? Yes, I think I'll open it, but must you surprise without using any kind of key? Lear effortlessly flips back the steadily revealing the contents of the strong box. Lear reaches into the open strong box and retrieves a black pouch, a small quantity of gold in a wooden box. He peeks in the black pouch and then opens the box. Much to your surprise, he promptly closes the small container and says across the table to you. I've no use for those, he says. Perhaps you can make use of them. I never have been able to figure out what purpose these things serve. Flip open the small box and are pleased to discover it contains 4 adventure tokens. After thinking there, you promptly skip up the valuable currency. Still don't know what all this means. I've never met Mordrin, for what reason he has given me all this. As you safely put away your adventure tokens, you take note of Lear. As he places his left hand atop the black pouch he removed from the strong box pouch he peeked into only moments ago, he slowly draws the pouch cloth back towards himself. With a hand covered, he just sip his steaming pale. I don't care. Satisfied you made your delivery and have no desire to intrude upon his privacy, you decide against making any further inquiries that black pouch in its mysterious context. After finishing your pale, you rise and bid Lear farewell, eager to depart from RedWarren and return to Hawklaw. I see you out and think again, Lear lingers in the door, watching as you make your way along the lonely road that leads back into town. You head back to the town square on your way to RedWarren, and there you can encounter the magistrate Yuldo, busy directing the cleaning effort now underway throughout the town square. Thanks to you, and takes you aside and thanks you. It was Providence that you came to us when you did, he says, stopping to scold several children pitching rocks nearby. I shudder to think the fate lay in store for us if you hadn't worried. I trust you found Lear. Without elaborating on the details of your visit to Lear, you simply nod in response to his inquiry. Taking your leave of Yuldo, you wish him well and tell him that you'll be happy to return to RedWarren someday, though you're not certain you'll be in a hurry to deliver any more packages. He meets you in a shoulder cross and wishes you a safe journey before heading off in the direction of the mill. The trek back to Hawklaw proceeds without incident as you make your way along the many small winding roads that serve to carve a path through the rugged, beautiful hard hills. You begin to wonder how quickly one of everyone's recent ordeal will spread throughout the region. Now and again you thoughts turn to Mordrin, the local renowned palo merchant, at whose request you made a faithful journey to RedWarren. Although you don't believe he played any part in what occurred there, you hope to be able to speak to him someday and ask him about the unusual delivery you made on his behalf. The lone rider described by Yulda and the tattooed woman you encountered on more than one occasion during your adventure linger an unanswered question on the back of your mind. At the first Hawklaw's outer dwellings looming to the view just up ahead, you greeted by the welcoming sound of horse smoke. When your journey now in the weariness plays your limbs, and your mind seems to rot away as you turn and head for back, eager to plant yourself before the hearth, even at the risk of having to endure another of Pericle's long-winded besides told yarn. Besides, you're all but certain you've got the makings of fire, so a tale worth a nail or two. Hey, the end. Well, we did it. That was a very long quest. I did not expect it to be that long. But we've done it. So next time we'll start Proving Grounds 2. Thanks so much for hanging out. Why is my mind down? Oh, because I put that thing on. Let's put our jump back on. Okay, now our mind back to 20. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off. So thanks so much for hanging out and joining me. Until next time, you know what I'm gonna say. Peace.